Number one principle, and this, anything I call a principle applies to everything. If I call it a principle, it applies to locking, it applies to striking, it applies to takedowns. First principle is you always maximize your leverage. Every joint lock is a lever arm. You want to get the maximum leverage that you can. Okay, here I have a jack lease, nothing. As it goes down, it increases. If I get to the next floppy place, if he's stiff, it can work, but all he has to do is relax and the lock goes away. So in every joint lock, you want to maximize the lever arm. On the wrist locks, that diagonal across the back of the hand is the most leverage I'm going to get. I have nothing here. Okay, that's the first one. Sticks, hitting people with clubs, maximize the leverage in a strike. If I'm going for a takedown, common sweep, if I'm here, I've got nothing. Here it's probably good. Here it's unbelievably easy. You maximize your leverage in every technique. Second principle, and first heard this from Wally J, is two-way action. You can lock in a lock and apply pressure and get something. I can hold here and pull and get something. But if I do both as actions, it's more than twice as effective. Every lock, you want to be moving both things if you can. Third principle is use gravity. The farther away your hands are from you, the weaker you're going to be. You want to get them under your center if you can. If you need to, you can fall on it. And even someone that's smaller and weaker will get a much better lock or break that way. Fourth principle, basing. Locks cannot exist in air. If I can put him in the best lock in the world and he's eventually going to wise up and just walk out of it because there's nothing there. If I want a lock to work, I need to take away his weasel room. I need to give him no place to go. That's why we put people over car hoods. That's why we put him into walls. The other option is that I can keep him moving, maybe, and as long as I can stay in front of the force, he can go, but he'll outrun it or I'll lose it in transition. I need to base him out. There is another option. You can stack them. Some of the locks, some of my favorites, you can use a counter lock in the opposite direction to keep him from moving. So which way would make your shoulder feel better? It makes your fingers feel worse. Which way make your fingers feel better? It makes your shoulder feel worse. So that's stacking. Whenever you can use multiple techniques at once, you do it. And it's not just lock to lock is one fine stack, but lock to strike is another one. There's no reason not to combine techniques when you can. It doesn't cost you any time. The last and most important is gifts. Everything, every lock, every strike only works because you have the opportunity to do it, and the bad guy is the one that gives you the opportunity. When he pushes, he's handing me that elbow, and his natural reaction is going to be to pull it back, and that is going to hand me the shoulder. Every time he moves, he's handing you something. You have to recognize it. And that's what makes it work. You will not go into a fight and create a lock. He's squared up. He's ready to go. There's no way, and we get rookies who get hurt every year doing this. I got really good at one wrist lock at the academy, so I'm going to, and he's going to punch the shit out of me. Okay, but if he grabs my shirt and curls it up and does that, he's handing me most of that lock. I just have to roll with it. Okay. Okay, does everyone understand that? Those are the principles. They make other things work. Principles make other things work. Now here's where it gets fun. There are only 3 kinds of joints in the human body you can lock. That's it. And each type locks the same way. They're hinge joints. Elbow, knee, these 2 little ones in the fingers, this one in the thumb. Toes, if you ever get attacked on the beach, maybe. Ball and socket joints, shoulders, hips, base of the fingers, base of the thumbs. And gliding joints, wrist, and okay, I'm just going to say this, so you guys can cut it later. Everything I say about the wrist also applies to the neck if you can justify deadly force. They lock the same way. So hinge, ball and socket, gliding.